Hi, I'm Shelley.
And I'm Kate, and you're listening to One Lump or Two,
The boldest breast cancer podcast yet.
Join us each week as we offer an intimate glimpse into the challenges and triumphs of facing breast cancer head-on in our 30s.
In Series 2, we're going to be joined by you, our listeners, and some experts in the field to help us all feel a little less alone and a lot more informed.
Now, let's pull back that curtain and dive in. Welcome home, Shelley.
Hi.
Little joke, she's been home like a week.
I'm always back, yeah.
Just to set the scene for today's episode, we are on the sofa, under blankets, and Shelley currently has my cat
I'm
on her lap.
distracted because the cat is here and it's just, I love cats and it's a dream come true.
She's in heaven.
I've never had a lap cat before.
She's such a lap cat.
I love it.
So, today we're talking all things Coppafeel trek.
Yay!
So Shelley's been home for 10 days?
Yeah, last Tuesday.
Okay.
8 days, 9
Feels
days.
like forever ago
It does,
already.
doesn't it,
yeah.
actually?
But we thought we'd talk you through the whole thing. So from when Shelley signed up to everything she did to prepare to actually doing the trek and how she's feeling now. So if we rewind to maybe like a year ago, was it, when you first signed
yeah,
up?
I think it was because the applications for next year's treks are open now.
Yeah.
So it was about a year ago.
What
Yeah.
made you want to do it?
I think, obviously I've been involved with Coppafeel for ages now. I do lots of volunteering for them anyway. And I knew of the treks, but I think before I just physically wouldn't have been able to do it. I mean, I barely did it this time, no, I'm joking. And I think I was just at a point where, like, I don't really know I just don't know what I'm doing.
Don't know what I'm doing in my life.
And I just needed or just wanted to do something that was gonna kind of make me sit up and go like, oh my God, yeah, like I've conquered this. I've done something amazing, like post cancer.
Yeah.
Something that I just don't think I thought I would be able to do, basically.
Okay.
And India came up, and I've always wanted to go to India. I used to do like so much traveling, and it's always been on my like list to go to. And I just thought, okay, it's the perfect time. I just had to do it.
So you signed up, and then you had to make, was it £3,500?
£3,600, yeah. We had to raise for Coppafeel. And I say my mum baked a lot of cakes.
She did.
So many cakes. We basically did park run once a month. So I think everyone knows what park run is, don't they? I don't need to explain what park run is.
It's like a little charity organisation, and they host runs around parks normally on a Saturday morning, like a 5K.
Yeah.
And you get like an official time, and you can, like, there's no
I did one
stress
once,
to
and it was
go.
great.
You did do one
I
once.
hated it.
Also, about a year ago, we were like, oh my God, shall we do park run after Christmas?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, because it was like this time last year where we were kind of still on the couch to 5K, like hype.
yeah,
And then we just didn't.
we just never did it.
I don't know why I did the 5K without you. I did the parkrun without you.
I don't know, but we had grand plans to go and do the 5K and then go and have waffles afterwards at the
basically.
new waffle place in town.
And we just didn't do
We've
that.
not done it.
We haven't even had waffles.
No, we haven't.
Like, fuck the 5K.
Yeah.
We've not
I'm
even
not
been
doing that
waffles.
now.
No. I couldn't do it.
I don't think I could.
I barely did it last year. I think it took me, I don't know what my time was, but it was probably like 50-something minutes.
I don't think it was that long.
Was it not?
I remember being quite impressed with your time.
It was in the 40s, definitely.
I think that's fine.
I mean, that is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had cancer.
Who are
at the
these
end of the day.
stupid people that run it in like 20 minutes?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
get
because
alive. Sorry if you're one of those people.
Because it's so funny because every time we did the cakes, so the teas and coffees and cakes for parkrun, you know who's going to buy a cake and who isn't. Like the really
I'll
fit,
bet.
athletic people that run to parkrun, run the 5K in about 20 minutes, and then they just
Fucking
run
hell.
home and you're like, they're not buying a cake.
Oh my God.
They're so fit, it's unreal. So yeah, we did a lot of that, and I would kind of bake one cake. My mum would bake about 6.
Your poor mum. You owe her.
But it was like it was a family affair. My sister came and helped. My dad was there. My dad was like the tea and coffee man, and I just kind of was the face. I didn't actually do an awful lot. I was the only one that knew how to work.
You
the
had
card
to do the
machine.
trek.
Yeah.
think you did your dues.
I was the one where people were like, so what's the charity for? I'd go, Coppafeel, I've had cancer.
Hi.
Hi, it's me. It's for me.
I'm the important one here.
Yeah. So we did a lot of that. And actually, that raised quite a lot. So we'd get, on average, like £90, which is pretty good just
That's
from
not
teas
bad,
and
yeah.
cake. So, yeah, we did that for, I want to say, like, wow, not a year, maybe 8 months. Also, another big thing I did to raise money was take my clothes off.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
You did that a lot.
And people ask me, like, where did this idea come about? And I don't really know what sparked it.
No, just one day when we were on a walk, you were like, I'm going to do some life drawing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I say tape, I'm not a stripper. Like, let's, nothing against strippers. I just don't think I'd be a very good one. I did like life modelling for charity. So I got in touch with a few local Oxford-based life drawing companies, and they all very kindly basically just donated all of their profits for the art class that I was modelling to Coppafeel. The first one I did,
The first one was intense.
I was pooping myself.
Only because the room was so big.
It was
so
big,
like we
yeah.
were in a hall
Yeah.
that had seats staged up as if you were going to do
it was like a little lecture theatre or something, wasn't it?
And then so there was this big floor, and then Shelley was just in the middle with some chairs and cushions and blankets and stuff. And there was just a lot of space around.
Yeah, it wasn't very, like, intimate.
Yeah.
I think that was maybe and also it was just because it's the first time I'd ever done it, and I was really nervous, like, so nervous.
But you did it, and some friends did it with you.
Yeah, so
I didn't.
Shout out to Imogen and Jamie, who very kindly volunteered to do it with me, which was incredible. That kind of kick-started it, and I was on the news. I was even on the BBC News app, man.
You
There was a little
were,
picture
yeah.
of me. Local woman takes clothes off for charity. So I did that, and then I did it 2 more times. And the last time I did it, the event was crazy. Like, people were queuing down the road.
Yeah, so you did it in a bit more of an affluent part of Oxford
So we did it
as
in
well.
Jericho, yeah, which is full of kind of rich arty folk.
I work there.
Yeah, that's like my goal. I'd love to live in Jericho, but I never
The
will.
houses are insanely expensive.
Oh my God.
Honestly, don't.
Even to, like, rent a room. So obviously I live in a shared house, and where I live, it's a nice area, but it's not Jericho. But I looked in Jericho, and it was like over £1,000 a month just to rent a room in someone's house. Like, who can afford
When
that?
I was in the office full time, I'd go for a walk every lunch, and I'd just walk down there and like pretend for an hour that like this is where I'm from, and I'm not common as fuck. And I lived in these really big houses, and my like local was a tiny little deli, and oh, it's great. I can't afford to work there.
Yeah. I know, yeah. I'd be going to, like, cafes and bars, like, every day.
Honestly, if I go into the office, I pay for parking, obviously, because it's Oxford, and then I'll be like, well, I'm here, so I'll treat myself to lunch and coffee. So I'll go to Gale's on my way in and get a coffee.
And Gale's is expensive.
Yeah, and then I'll go back out a couple of hours later and get some breakfast from Gale's, and then I'll go to Taylor's for lunch, or Brown's, or Branca, or whatever. And then on the way home, I'll be like, I can't really afford anything, but I'm a little bit hungry. And then I'll go pick up something else. And I've spent like 40 quid in a day just to go to work. So don't go very often.
God, imagine if you had to go in every day.
Honestly, I used to have to like leave my bank cards at home, not have like my wallet app. Yeah. Anyway, hugely digress.
We digress. Yeah, that event was amazing because it sold out, completely sold out tickets, and they hold like 10 on the door, and even those had gone, and they had to like squeeze extra people in because
there were people like queuing to come and
so basically there were people like waiting outside the front door, hoping that someone with a ticket wouldn't turn up so they could come in.
Oh my God.
And there was one woman who came all the way from Banbury on the train.
You're basically Taylor Swift.
Yeah, basically. Thank you, actually. You're so right.
You are.
People are queuing to come and see me naked.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, so that was so successful, and that really like boosted my total. And also just gave me like, I think the life drawing was really A, to raise money, B, to raise awareness of breast cancer, because I only have one boob, so it's very obvious that I've had breast cancer, and I love, you know, showcasing like diverse bodies. Like, why shouldn't one boobed people be models? They should be.
Exactly.
But also it was for myself as well.
I do think
Kate's
after the
bored of this
first
conversation.
one,
She's just painting her nails.
I'm just gluing a nail back on, it just fell off. I think after you did the first one, there was like a huge change in the way you spoke about your body.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed that.
A lot of it was for myself and for my self-confidence, which still is quite low. But higher than I guess it was before because now, like, I mean, I've only done it now. I get naked at the drop of a hat. I've only done it 3 times. Actually, no, 4. And I really, like, there is that initial, like, ooh, when you take, like, the robe off.
Yeah.
But in general, it's like, it's a body. Everyone has them.
Yeah.
And people genuinely just are there for the art. And then you get to go around and look at everyone's drawings of you. And they're amazing.
And they're all so different as well.
They're incredible. I love it. I love walking around and being that awkward, like, model. That just
Some people
stands
gave
and be
you
like,
some,
oh.
didn't they?
Yeah, I got given a couple of originals, which was amazing. They're framed now and up in my room, so I just
so
like
cute.
stare at myself naked, which I think everybody should. Like,
Just so obsessed.
God, I'm so obsessed with myself. So yeah, that was one of my favourite fundraising activities, and it's something that I'm going to continue to try and do, like, just generally just model for life drawing, because I just think it's really, like, empowering, I guess, for want of a better word. So that was amazing. And what else did I do? I did, like, bits and bobs. I did, like, a well-being mindfulness evening, which actually that was really successful as well. Everybody really
nice.
wanted to come to that. The hall was full.
Packed.
I think I probably overbooked it a little bit. There wasn't really much space, but it was intimate and it was great.
It was nice.
Basically, when you're trying to do stuff for charity, people are very generous, so generous. And even the guy, shout out to Jim, who was my yoga teacher, and he did the well-being evening for me completely for free, just you know, out of his own time. Yeah, everyone's just so generous, and I love it.
It was good. And you
really
also
good.
you did like a little coffee morning.
Yeah, that was
thing.
cute. I was nervous about that as well, only because my mum was stressed because she basically organised it because she's a babe, and I can't organise anything. And she was like, "What if no one comes?" And I'm like, "Mum, don't say that. People are gonna ask." Like, well, I've invited people and told people they have to come.
Yeah.
I know at least like 5 of my friends that are definitely
I know my
coming,
friends
'cause
will
I've,
be
like,
there
forced
because I've
to
told
come.
them.
Yeah. So, but actually so many people turned up.
Yeah.
And we raised loads of money from that as well. It was kind of like a mishmash of coffee morning cake. We had a random little raffle with some like random like shitty prizes, but you know, it was great. My sister went around and basically just forced everybody to buy raffle tickets.
Yeah, it was very forced.
But you know, great. She did a great job.
It was good.
Yeah.
So many cakes.
And just like random stalls of like crap
Yeah.
that we found in our house that we thought we could sell, which people bought.
We should do that more often.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I think
it was really good.
I know you had some like really big, grand fundraising plans that
Had a lot
just
of plans.
never came to
They
light.
didn't materialise.
But
Not an event plan.
I don't think that mattered because
No.
you did it.
At the end of the day, I did it, and actually I raised about £1,000 more than
That's
what
not bad.
I was supposed to, which is, I think, really good. And in general, the whole Coppafeel target for everyone on the trek was £450,000. We've raised over £700,000 for Coppafeel.
Oh my God.
Which is like the most we've ever raised for a Coppafeel trek.
Do you know what other people did for fundraising? Did you?
So a lot of people just seem to have very generous friends.
Okay.
And family, which obviously mine were as well. But there was one girl who raised the whole amount, like, by not doing any events.
Oh my God.
Just people gave her money. And I thought, fair play.
She must be really nice.
But I don't have... My friends aren't that rich.
No, we're all poor.
Why do I not have rich friends? But I think a lot of people did like pub quizzes and I guess maybe bigger events. But I've never been great at organising. But I think especially now, my brain is fried.
Yeah.
And I'm just exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
And there was definitely plans to do bigger events and just kind of one thing after another. It just kind of like didn't really happen. Other people did like what's it called? It's like a bingo thing. It has a name.
I have no idea.
Basically, you pay £5 for like a square on a little board,
Okay.
and then I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Shelley's doing an awful lot of staring at me like,
You know
what I mean. I have no idea what you mean.
It's like bingo. So you pay £5 for your like numbered square.
Yeah.
And then you randomly pull out a number, and then whoever's square that is wins like half of the prize money.
Okay.
I don't know what that's called.
I don't know what that's called.
I don't know. But people did all sorts of different things.
So how did you physically prepare for your trek? So you knew that you were going to be walking, was it like 15k a day?
About 18 to 20.
Okay, 18 to 20k a day.
No, the cat's gone.
Oh, bye Orbs.
Bye.
So how did you prepare for your trekking?
You know I didn't. Don't come at me with that question when you know the answer.
You did do a little bit because you did start going walking with your sister.
I actually did,
on
yeah.
the weekends,
Yeah.
and we went once after it rained a lot, which was a bad idea.
I did.
And we went away.
Yeah, so we went away on what was supposed to be a walking weekend. Well, no, to be fair,
We
it
walked
was like
a long way.
What did we actually go for? Was it like our anniversary or something?
Yeah, because we've known each other a year.
Our anniversary of being friends.
Even though it feels
which
like
actually was really
20.
cute. Yeah, it does.
It was so cute. We had a really cute little Airbnb
it was so
on a
nice.
polo club. So we also got to see like lots of horses, and we saw
Yeah.
a giant horse who really didn't like
it was
us.
scary.
But yeah, we walked a lot. We just
did walk a
stopped at a
lot.
lot of pubs.
Yeah, we stopped. There was one day where we walked, and we'd walked, I don't know, an hour or so,
Yeah.
not that long. And we came across the village, and we were like, "Oh, should we just see if they've got like a coffee or something?"
Yeah.
Got to this pub, got a coffee, went into the garden, and they had like a community pub puzzle.
Just did the puzzle for a
And we
few hours.
Yeah, we got so into the puzzle though.
Yeah.
And we did loads of it.
And then we carried on our walk, and after that, it just felt a bit. We just wanted to be doing the
We
puzzle.
we did want to go back and do the puzzle. But we did do walking.
We did.
And I think I basically just did little random bits
Mm-hmm.
of walking rather than I probably should have walked longer
Yeah.
and at altitude.
Did other people prepare, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not everyone.
Okay.
Not everyone. There's another girl who I'm friends with, Mia. I did a photo shoot with her, and we were very much in the same company. Like I'd message her and be like, "Please tell me you've not done any
Yeah.
training," and she'd be like, "No, thank God. So glad you haven't." And me and her were both just like, "We haven't not done anything." I didn't practice with my poles, even though they told me to. But loads of people hadn't used their
Okay.
poles before. I didn't even know. So I borrowed poles from a friend, and they have these like little rubber things on the bottom of them.
Yeah.
I didn't realise they came off. So it was day one, and I had my poles.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Okay, we're going to do a little lesson on poles," because obviously none of us had used the poles. And they were like, "These little, so you turn them upside down, like you can pull the rubber bits off." I pulled them off, and then that's what the spike is obviously underneath the rubber bits.
Ah.
So then obviously
Yeah.
the poles go in like the mud and the rocks and stuff. And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know those bits came off." So anyway, I didn't do an awful lot of training. I should have climbed a few more mountains because it was very hard.
Yeah.
But not everybody. I mean, it was unrealistic to be going every weekend and climbing Snowdon. Like,
Yeah.
I don't live anywhere near
Yeah.
any mountains. If I lived in the Peak District,
And like
maybe I would have.
the best hill we've got here is Whitehorse Hill, maybe. And even
It's not
that's
that
not
high.
that high, because also
takes
by
you,
the
like,
time
10
you
minutes to
park the car on it, you're halfway up the hill.
You drive 3/4 of the way up, park the car, and then it's 10 minutes to the top.
You
We
need to
made
go.
it!
You need to go from that like really dangerous dip in the road where you drive and think,
Yes.
"This is where I'm going to die."
Yeah.
Past the sheep. That's where you need to walk from, because that would be
Yeah.
really steep from there. But I don't think there's any public footpaths or anything down there.
No, there isn't, and it's not a very nice road to walk on.
No.
So
No, you would
that's
die.
my excuse. Yeah. Yeah, if I'd lived somewhere where there was like really beautiful uphill walks, I might have done a bit more training.
Yeah.
But also I'm lazy.
And also the weather, you didn't have the best summer to
No.
prepare for it, because even when we went for a walk locally, we literally went on a day when it had stopped raining for the first time in days, and
months.
we literally just took the first opportunity we had.
Yeah.
And it was wet and a bit miserable, and I think we parked the car in a puddle.
We did,
And our feet were wet, and we didn't
yeah.
walk as far as we were going to walk because it was so wet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you did all right.
I mean,
you survived.
The main preparing I did was I bought my walking boots in advance and broke them in.
And everything else you bought like a week before you went.
Yeah. That is accurate.
Every time I saw Shelley, like in the 2 or 3 weeks leading up, so she periodically comes back to her parents.
Periodically, every
Most
week.
of the time. So we go for a walk in the morning to our local coffee van. Shout out JP and me. And every morning I'd go, so have you bought anything? And she'd be like, well, I got a massive sleeping bag, but I don't know how it's going to fit in my rucksack. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, what about your other stuff? No.
No.
Do you want to just do an order and I'll go and collect it for you? No, it's all right. I will get it.
I got it.
Are you sure? You did, yeah.
Just like the day before.
Cutted it really fine.
I did cut it fine, but everything arrived.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
Yeah. I cut it so fine that I actually... I realised the day before, because I was kind of packing, we had a little WhatsApp group, because we knew our teams a bit in advance, and we had like a team WhatsApp group. And everyone, like 2 weeks before we were leaving, had like started packing, or they started laying all their stuff out, and I was like, who are you all? Like, I'm planning on doing it the night before. Anyway, I did it 2 days before, which I thought was good for me.
Yeah.
And as I was kind of laying stuff out and like ticking off my little checklist, I realised I didn't have any like leggings. I have one pair of leggings.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not going to last me the week. So I had to do like a next day delivery order from a company to get me some like gym leggings. And they literally arrived like, yeah, the night before.
Oh my God.
And I was like, if they don't fit,
Why didn't you just go to a shop?
It's a good question. Okay.
Because also, you live in Oxford.
Yep. That's right. I do. I don't know.
Okay.
Is the answer to that one.
Okay.
I think probably because I couldn't be bothered.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. I don't know, actually. That's so true.
Did you just not even cross your mind?
Not really, no.
I suppose sometimes
Where
I
would
don't
have
even
got
think
gym
about
leggings
it.
from, though?
Oh, I don't know. There must be places in... You could have gone to Decathlon.
No, I didn't want to go to Decathlon because I was angry with them.
Oh, okay.
I know. Because I ordered a coat from them, and online the coat was like, in a small it was like 60 quid, but then I don't need a small, I needed a medium. And then when I clicked medium it was like 30 quid, and I was like, oh, bargain. So then I bought it, and then the day later they were like, we've cancelled your order. And I was like,
No.
sorry, what? Basically just because they'd got the price wrong. And so then we were in a little bit of a back and forth argument of, it's not my fault that you got the price wrong on your own site. And they were like, we're not going to change it. Or like the seller, they kept on saying the seller. And I was like, aren't you, you're the seller.
Yeah.
No, it came from like a third party. Anyway, went back and forth for a while, and then I just couldn't be bothered to carry on arguing because I wasn't getting anywhere.
Twats.
So then I refused to buy anything else from Decathlon. They're basically like, you're welcome to place a new order for the coat at the current price. And I was like, I will not be doing that.
Bye, thank you.
No. So that day, actually, I went into Oxford that day and got myself a coat.
Okay.
But
no
I
leggings.
just didn't get the leggings. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, moral of the story is I was pretty unorganised. But that's nothing new for me.
No.
But I think it just really crept up on me as well, though.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was going for such a long time. And then I was like, I've got months, I've got months, I've got months. And then
then
all of a
suddenly,
sudden,
yeah, it was
I've
like,
got days.
Yeah.
I hadn't packed.
it was a bit mad. So talk us through like leaving and getting there and like everything, so that if anybody is thinking about doing this and suffers with a bit of anxiety because they don't know what happens or they don't know how they're going to get there or all that kind of stuff, like talk us through it all.
So everything is organised for you, basically.
Okay.
Apart from getting to the airport.
Yeah.
But once you're at the airport, you're kind of swept up.
Is there like someone with a Coppafeel
Essentially,
sign?
yeah. You kind of get like a meeting time and a meeting place at the airport. You go there, and then there's these people in these like charity challenge t-shirts welcoming you.
Yeah.
And basically just telling you what you need to do, where you need to go. And then essentially you just mill about the airport for a bit. But everybody else is there as well. So we were kind of split up. Some people went on Virgin and some people went on BA. But there was like a group of like 30, 40 of us.
Okay.
Flying all together. So you just...
Were you like sat together so you could chat on the flights and stuff? You weren't...
So I was sat next to some randos,
Oh.
but I was like near... Everybody else seemed to be sat together. And I was just sat next to
Just
two...
your luck, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I know. And then, so I got on the plane and I was sat on the aisle, and I quite like the aisle because you just get a little bit more leg room.
Yeah.
And also I really don't like asking people to move so I can go to the toilet. Anyway, I got there and the woman I sat next to was like, "Oh, you've drawn the short straw." And I was like, what do you mean? Or what are you talking about? And she was like, basically, I always get up to the loo, like, 10 times during a flight. And I was like, no, I'm not. I don't really sleep very well on a flight anyway, but I was like, if I'm asleep and
I've
and
got
your
a track
bladder...
for days after this. I am not starting to get up and down now.
I know, I just want to sit down for 9 hours and watch my
I need
movies.
to rest.
Anyway, she wanted to sit, well, her husband wanted to sit on the aisle. So I swapped with him and had the window seat. And to be fair, she did get up and down quite a lot, so I think it was a good swap. But that meant I was like just nowhere near anyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people were kind of sat either next to each other or near each other on the flight. So that was fine. But the only thing you have to do is get yourself to the airport.
Okay.
Which was pretty easy for me. I just hopped on a bus.
Yeah.
Because we're pretty close to Heathrow from here. And then you just get told everything that you're doing every day.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good in terms of organisation, but also it did get a little bit annoying when you're it's 5 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to like get all your stuff ready and people are going, 5 minutes, you've got 5 minutes, and you're like, I know.
Oh, God.
Stop yelling at me.
I mean, I'd be ready, so that wouldn't stress me out. But
to be fair,
if I was doing it with you and you weren't ready, I'd be stressed out on your behalf.
you would, yeah.
I'd be like, for fuck's sake, Shelley, come on.
No, I was ready. I used to always pack my bag the night before and get all my clothes ready. Because top tip, it was really cold there at night. And
bet.
you sleep with your clothes for the next day, sleep with them in your sleeping bag. And they're warm when you put them on in the morning.
Genius.
That was top tip.
Yeah.
I was anxious to go, I'm not going to lie. I think it's the first time... I've been away before since cancer, but nothing like this. And nowhere near as far as India.
And you were totally on your own
Yeah.
as well. Like you didn't have any of your
go
friends
with a friend,
you. Yeah.
no. Because some people did, and some people went with couples, like with their partner. But most people there went on their own, which was nice, and it made me less anxious, obviously, because everyone's kind of in the same boat. To go on your own and just not know anyone, and I didn't really know what to expect either. Like I knew kind of like we were going to be trekking, but I just didn't know. I didn't really know what like the camp was going to be like, and I really worry about sleep. And my mum, bless her, she was so funny. I think I was obviously been talking about how I'm really scared about lack of sleep, because before we even got to the trek, we had a lot of travelling to do. So it was an 8-hour flight to Delhi. And then we had like the afternoon in Delhi to like shower basically. And then we got on a 7-hour sleeper train from Delhi to wherever that dropped us off. I can't remember. And then it was like a 6-hour coach journey to like our campsite in the mountains. So it was
It's like
lot.
a full 24-hour travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I barely slept. because I don't sleep on planes. I knew I wasn't going to sleep on the sleeper train. I did sleep a little bit, but it was an experience. But my mum texted me, like, I think just before I got on the plane, being like, no one dies from lack of sleep. I was like...
Well, they probably do, but like severe lack of sleep.
Yeah. And I was like, do you know what? You're so right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to die because I've not slept for a day.
Yeah.
Or I've had like bad sleep or broken sleep.
You'll just be tired. And the adrenaline as well from what you're doing would help G you up every day and keep you going and would override the sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got there.
Got there.
Do you set up camp? Does someone else do it for you?
It's all set up. It was gorgeous as well.
5-star camping.
It wasn't 5-star. But do you know what? It was way better than I thought it was going to be, though. It was... So there was 4 of us to a tent. But the tents were massive. And I thought we would be kind of on like little thin camping mats. No, we had like mattresses. So they were like pretty thick. So you couldn't, they were comfy, you couldn't feel the floor.
And someone else puts that up every day, takes it down.
Well, no, no.
Or does the camp not move?
The camp doesn't move.
Oh, okay.
So then we had one central camp.
Oh, I thought you like
moved
along the mountain range.
No, so we had a base.
Okay.
And then every day we would do a different like trail.
Out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out and back. Yeah, it was gorgeous. We had sheets, we had pillows, we had mattresses, we had flushing toilets, warm showers, apart from the first day, mine was cold. But after that, warm showers. We had breakfast, lunch and dinner cooked for us.
So you don't really have to worry about anything other than walking.
Essentially, yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Walking and like, yeah, not getting blisters, essentially. I had to tape my feet up every day.
Ugh.
And strap my knees because my poor little knees just don't really work. And the walking poles, oh my God, they were lifesavers. If anyone's like thinking of doing like multi-day treks or whatever, walking poles are your best friends. They were like my little babies by the end of it. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to live without these poles in my life.
I need them just to walk my work.
Literally, yeah. They were just the best. I was like, my personality is now these walking poles. But it was, yeah. So the camp was perfect. I had no complaints about the camp. And they even had little like a little tiny little shop where you could buy like little local handmade goodies.
Oh, that's
And they
cute.
had you could get massages. I know.
God.
So I didn't get one because with my like lymphedema, getting a full body like deep tissue massage just isn't advised unless your masseuse is like cancer trained. I don't know. But you could get a foot massage, but I don't really love people touching my feet. But you could also get a head massage. But I saw someone getting one and it really put me off because their head was like just going all over the place. Proper rough, like shaking of their head and their hair. And then one of my friends got one and she said he put his fingers in her ears at the end.
No! Why would you do that?
Like, oh God, I don't want to get one now. I don't know, it was just part of it.
I would not find that relaxing.
No. It didn't look relaxing at all.
Ooh.
Anyway, but that was, what a crazy thing to have on offer.
Yeah.
Massages. And they were so cheap as well. So the full body massage was, I think, 900 rupees, which is about £9.
Oh, that's bargain.
Yeah. You pay 90 quid here
We should
for a full body
travel
massage.
there to get one.
Yes.
Still probably cheaper.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Honestly, incredible. I couldn't have asked for more from the campsite. And day one we got there, it was boiling hot. Bearing in mind, they literally drilled it into us that it was going to be freezing cold and you must pack this and you must pack this and you need your thermals and you need a 4-season sleeping bag that goes down to -10, and we were all like really scared that it was going to be really cold, and then we get there and it's like 25 degrees and we were all like effing and blinding like, why have we like filled our suitcases full of like warm layers and thermals, blah 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 blah. But then it gets to like 5 p.m. as soon as the sun goes down, it's freezing cold. It's freezing cold and we were all like, okay, fine.
Take it all back.
Okay, take it back. So yeah, the temperature, but the annoying thing about the temperature was in the morning you'd be freezing. So we set off about like around 6:30 every single morning, and you'd need to layer up. So you'd have to have like a t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, a fleece, a coat. Well, I did anyway. Because I really feel the cold. But then like 10, 15 minutes into the trek, you've got to stop and de-layer
Layer.
because you're boiling hot. And then you're just carrying around all your layers all day. But
I'm just thinking about like the sweaty back from carrying a rucksack.
oh my God, my back was so sweaty. Because it was so hot, it was dripping. Really
Sexy.
soggy. Yeah.
So sexy.
Really sexy. It was great.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then obviously the higher you got, the colder it would get. But so then you're sweaty, but then it's cold.
Yeah.
And so then you get even a bit colder because you're so wet with sweat. But yeah.
Okay, so whose team are you on? Because everyone's split into 4 different teams.
4 different teams. So I was on Team Angela Scanlon. And if you don't know who she is, you should follow her because she is fantastic. She is like a presenter, basically. She did Strictly last year. And she's just a hilarious Irish woman. And
Points already.
yeah, she was just great. She was just really like normal and down to earth and fun and just like relatable as well. And the other captains, so we had Angela, and then there was Sarah Davies, who is a dragon from Dragon's Den, and then we had Emma Willis, who is a presenter and does all sorts of things, and then Erin Kennedy, who is a cox for the Paralympic rowing team, GB, obviously. Don't know why I need to add
Story
that in.
from somewhere else. We'll take the French one.
Yeah. And then we had Giovanna Fletcher, obviously. So she's like the face of all of the CoppaTreks. She was there. She was lovely. They were all so lovely, to be fair. Like, couldn't have asked for kind of like a better mix of captains and people. And it was just great. And you have a little pep talk every morning with your captain, and then you have a little briefing when you get back. And yeah, it just kind of throughout the treks, like they basically just chat to you and like a normal person.
Yeah, make friends.
Yeah, essentially. But I do think like, because I spoke to Angela, I didn't really think about it, and there was one day where I just asked her how she was finding being a captain, and I kind of didn't realise actually what a tough job it is to be a captain, because you're kind of like, you know, you're there for your own reasons and you've got your own emotions and however prepared you are or not. Like, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Angela was very prepared. I mean, she's fitter than I am. She kind of made it look effortless, but I don't think she knew that she was going to be a captain until like quite late in the day. So I don't think she'd done much trekking beforehand. So you're trekking the same mountains as everybody else, finding it difficult. You've got like your own emotions going on, and then you've got to like be going around everybody, like geeing people up and like being funny and like, you know, making sure everyone's okay. And I just think like it's a lot.
It is a lot.
They did a great job.
So did you get a lot of like downtime to
Not
I don't know, like
really
sit around the campfire and make friends?
So there wasn't really a campfire, you know. So basically like you
trek, bed, eat, repeat.
Essentially.
Okay.
So it depends on, so you because there's so many of us, you have to stagger your start times, so you're not all on top of each other. So if you're the first team to leave, obviously you're the first team to get back, and then you do have a little bit more time to like relax, you know, shower, chill for a little bit, eat, bed.
Yeah.
But if you're like third or fourth team out, by the time you get back, it's already kind of getting dark. So then you just have to, quickly have a shower, you get changed, you like sit down for a little bit to rest your feet, dinner, bed. So there wasn't a massive amount of chill time.
Okay.
Apart from day one, obviously we kind of got there and we did like a 2-hour like orienteering walk, and then we just kind of chatted and stuff. But you kind of chat on the track, like you build such like big bonds with your teammates. Because day one, you're kind of all strangers and you're all a bit anxious, like, oh, who do I sit with? Like, who do I talk to?
And because you're there because of the kind of charity that it is, it automatically opens up those big conversations that you wouldn't have with someone
100%,
who's sat next to on a train.
It was like group therapy, basically. Because not everybody there had cancer, but everyone there had a connection to cancer in some way. And a lot of us had cancer. So there was a lot of chatting about cancer, and everybody's story is so unique and so different. And it was so interesting to hear everybody's stories and tales and experiences and why they were there. And it was, I think that's why you bond so quickly, because you immediately get so deep. Yeah. You're immediately asking like the deep questions that you wouldn't really tell another stranger.
You've been through something similar, you understand.
Yeah, you instantly
to a point,
like connect.
Don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone's gone through like their own unique journey.
Yeah, because I mean, we've only known each other 18 months.
Yeah,
and it doesn't feel like 18 months at all.
No,
like
it doesn't.
I don't.
It feels like years.
Remember life with you not in it.
I know,
which is weird.
Yeah, it's because we have this like shared experience.
Yeah,
you just bond and you just click with people so quickly. And I mean, once you've like had a wild wee in front of someone, that's, you're done. You're friends for life.
There's no going back.
There's no going back. So yeah, it was incredible, and it was very emotional. And I think because you're just, I don't know, there's just so many emotions. I can't really like describe it, because we're all chatting together and we're all on this journey for like one reason or another. And then you get to the top, or you get to wherever you're going to, and then you're literally just like, oh my God, like we've done it. And it's just this moment of, fuck, like what have we just done? Like,
it's
we're
like
actually incredible.
When you finish treatment and you're building it up, right? And then it happens and you're like, oh my God, I didn't think I was going to get through that 6 months, and I'm there. Yeah. And you just feel everything that you didn't know you were necessarily feeling. Yeah. And the stuff you knew you were feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a crier anyway. We all know that. But I was like, we got to the top. I can't remember what day it was. It might have been day 3. I was sobbing like a little baby. Oh, no. But everybody was. We were all just like hugging each other. And it was just, I think to share that moment with everyone there was just like, it was just magical. Like you just can't, and the views as well. Like you can't, you just get so, we were moaning. Like, you're walking up and you're like, fuck, I can't do it. It's so hard. Like, this is why I'm questioning all of my life choices. Like, why did I do this? Why have I signed up for this? It's so hard. And then the moment you get to the top, like, all of that's forgotten. And you're like, wow.
This is why.
This is why I did it. For this, like, pure, like, euphoric feeling of, wow, I did it. I can do it. I can do something. A massive accomplishment. Like, you just realise I can do something amazing.
And it's stupid, right? Because, like, you can do hard things. Yeah. Like, we've both done really fucking hard things. Yeah. But I think you categorise them differently, don't you? Like, this is something that's physically demanding. Yeah. And I think to some extent that feels harder than something that is mentally demanding. Yeah. You can picture in your head a physical reaction to not being able to do something like a massive track. Yeah. And then when you do it, you're just like, oh my God, I did this thing that I could picture myself doing. Whereas there are so many other things that we've done that are really hard, but you don't picture yourself sitting in your chemo chair for however many hours, because what's there to picture? True. Even though, like, mentally, that 4 hours that you've done there and walking through those doors and back out of those doors and facing how poorly you know you're going to be over the next 2 weeks, like, they're in equal measure difficult. It's just the demand that you're placing on yourself, and the limitations as well, because, like, how often do we say, like, oh, I just couldn't do it because we know we're tired and we know things
Yeah.
hurt. And actually, like, we are still really capable.
Yeah.
Really capable.
We are.
Just choose not to be.
I think that is it. Like, I think because there's so many things that I guess, not done or thought that I couldn't do or thought I wasn't able to do because of cancer. And then to, like, do this, like, for so hard days. And they were, like, they were really hard. It was, like, 18 to 20 kilometres a day. And that's, walking that amount of distance is hard anyway.
Yeah.
But you're going up.
Yeah.
And you're going pretty steep up. And there was moments where, like, the ledges were very small, and I thought, one false move,
If I die,
I'm gonna. What?
Well, it's okay because we've done an episode where we talked about your funeral, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
well, there you go. Exactly. You just listen to that, so you
did some
know my
prepping.
wishes. So yeah, it was tough. And yeah, I think before I think I have not made excuses. Obviously, like, our bodies are different and they can't do things that we used to be able to do. And I'm tired all the time.
It's easier to make the excuse to not do something you don't want to do now.
Yeah, because I know I can do it.
Yeah.
And actually, it's given me, like, a massive appreciation for, like, hiking and walking. And I want to have that feeling again, like the feeling when you get to the top, or the feeling on the last day when we crossed the finish line. And genuinely, I was waddling over that finish line. I would have done another day if I had to, because in my mind I was like, there's no way I'm not doing this. But I was in agony. I was not walking properly. I think Angela was walking behind me, and we were nearly at the end, and she was like, Shelley, are you all right? Like, you've got a funny little walk going on. And then my friends next to me were like, yeah, we didn't want to say anything, but, like, are you okay? I was just there like, no. I couldn't, like, really bend my knees anymore. And then my hips were hurting because I wasn't walking properly. So yeah, but that feeling of when you cross the finish line and they've got the band playing, and you get given your medal by G, and just there's, like, fanfare everywhere, and you get a little cup of prosecco, and you're just like, oh my god, like, there's just no other feeling like it. I just don't know how to explain it. Like, we were kind of all there, and we were like, how are we going to explain this to, like, our friends and family at home?
I think
like,
it's okay if you can't.
Yeah,
because it's not for the rest of us, is it?
No, you just don't know until you've done it. And I want to do more now.
Okay.
Not right now.
We could sign up for next year's now.
I know. To be honest, I would, but I think the fundraising stresses me out a bit. And I think to immediately have to start asking the exact same people for more money, they'd be like, fuck off.
I don't know if we can afford it.
Yeah. And if I asked my mum to bake one more cake...
She would
so
kill you.
I definitely will do another one in the future, but give it a couple of years, I think.
Okay.
But if anyone is listening who is kind of on the fence, like, it looks great, but I don't know if I'd be able to do it, you can. You can do it. It becomes a bit of mind over matter some days, but you just have to tell yourself, like...
Yeah, but you've done that before.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, it's okay if you can't do it. If it gets to, like, day 2 and you're like, I'm knackered, I can't do it, there's always people that stay behind.
Yeah.
There wasn't, like, I don't think there was one day where there wasn't at least one person that didn't do the track. And even if you're, like, halfway up the mountain, so there's always points where your walking path crosses a road where you could get picked up from.
Yeah.
There's doctors that walk with you. They know that you're there because you've probably had a cancer diagnosis or something along those lines. They're well aware of, like, people's physical limitations.
Yeah.
And so they plan accordingly.
Yeah.
There's always something that you can do if you get to... There was one day where a woman in our group essentially, like, fainted because she wasn't feeling very well and she just couldn't do it, and they just took her back down the mountain, and then she rested up and she was fine the next day. And, like, that sort of stuff happens and they're prepared for it.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you're anxious about, they've got it covered.
Yeah. And it's like there's so much more growth and, like, goodness that comes from listening to your body
100%.
than just powering through. Like,
and everybody's
you don't
there
get
to
points for
support
powering
you.
through.
No, you don't.
You just look like a twat.
And the fact that like you even gone there in the first place is, you know, like praise enough.
Yeah.
You've got yourself there. You know, you've even if you just climb like half a mountain, like fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're there and you're doing it and you're trying, and like I think that's like
And it's
amazing.
so different from your life as well. Like, you're going from
Yeah.
like your normal life where, you know, you probably walk, unless you're actively going for a walk, maybe like 5-6K across a day, just like doing
bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to then like concerted effort, the traveling,
Yeah.
the making sure you're
early
packed, the
mornings.
early mornings, all that. Like, it's out of
Yeah.
routine, and it's
Yeah.
okay if your body says,
It's
I need
completely out of-
to take a beat.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's completely out of routine. And as well, like, because you were in India, it's like really drilled into us about like you don't want to get ill, you have to sanitize your hands
Yeah.
like 24/7. You know, and people did get ill. Like, obviously Delhi belly is like a thing.
Yeah.
And people did get ill, but that's another thing, is like it's complete shock to your system. You're going from having like Western food to then having like curry breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And it is difficult to shove in a curry at 5 o'clock in the
I'll
morning.
bet, yeah.
As delicious as it was, the food was incredible, especially for me because I'm vegan. India has so many great vegan options, and they were so great for like the dietary requirements. 5 a.m. a nice hot curry isn't necessarily the one
Yummy.
when you're not used to having that as your
Yeah.
breakfast. So yeah, all of that like takes its toll on your body and your ability to do things. But yeah, it was brutal, but it was magical.
Wow, I'll start saving to sponsor you in like 2 years' time.
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. Save up so then you can give me loads of money.
Okay.
I do want to tell a funny story though.
Okay.
So obviously I mentioned about like doing wild wheeze. So you have to do wild wheeze, obviously.
Obviously,
You're
I'm a
out.
huge advocate for a wild
I
wee.
love a wild wee.
So does my daughter. If we go anywhere and I go, oh my God, I need a wee, because I always do whenever we end up away from
Yeah.
home, she will do anything to force a wild wee out.
Really?
She wants us to have a wild poo outside someone's house.
What,
And we had to
like
say,
a dog on their lawn.
basically, we had to be like, no, you can wee, you cannot
Can't
poo.
poo. Well, very apt that you say that, because it was really drilled into. So we had obviously Angela was our team captain, but then we had like a charity challenge who were like the organisers. They had like a team leader for us as well. And he drilled it into us on the first day, like, you need to poo, you need to make sure you poo, like, before we go on the treks, because, you know, you're going to have to ask me. He called it the shovel of shame. And then he was like, you have to ask me for the shovel of shame, and everyone's going to know that you needed a poo. And then we were all so anxious about doing poos on the trek. So then every morning I would, like, try and squeeze out a poo, and I was like, oh my God, if I've got a poo on this trek. Anyway, I had to poo in the trek.
Oh God,
But
okay.
But in my defense, you are away from a toilet
Yeah.
for 9-10 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it is hard to go for a poo
Yeah.
at 5 a.m. Well, for me, I found it anyway. Especially when you're like not in routine. The plane always fucks me up a bit.
Yeah.
You're eating like weird food that you're not really used to. And so my stomach
When you've
was
got to
just,
go, you've got to go.
You've got to go. So then obviously he'd really scared us with this whole shovel of shame. So obviously no one wanted to ask him for the shovel. So then you just kind of have to try and secretly do a poo without anyone knowing. And so I only told one person this, and so now it's not going to be a secret anymore. But it was so funny because we were like I can't remember what day it was. Anyway, we were like halfway through the trek, and you only have a certain amount of stops. You can't just stop whenever. They have like allocated stops for you to like have a drink, have a snack, go for a wee. So then when you get to stop and people go for a wee, there's like 15 people that want to wee at the same time.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find a private spot.
Yeah.
So then when you need a poo, it's a bit like, where am I going to do a poo where there's not 30 other people here.
Yeah.
So it was one day, and I was like, I have to go for a poo. Like, I can't hold it for another, it's like 6 hours. So we were like halfway up the mountain, and there was really nowhere to hide. But I went around the back of this like little building, but obviously that was like a great place for everyone to be doing their wheeze. So then just everybody kept on coming over, and I was like, I had to like pretend that I got like staged. I was like, I can't wee because you're all here. Hee hee hee. Actually, I needed a poo. So then I climbed a little bit further up the mountain where like people could kind of see you, but I was far enough away that no one knew I was pooing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was on my own. So got myself, settled in, did a poo. Covered it up with like a rock and some grass, and then went back down to meet the group. No one was none the wiser. And then I found one of my friends, and I like whispered in her ear, and I was like, "Do you want to know a secret?" She was like, "Yeah, what?" I was like, "I just did a poo." And she found it so funny. Anyway, what I didn't tell anyone was where I'd gone up the mountain to do the poo was the fucking trail.
To walk past your poo.
Yeah. So then they were like, okay, like 2 minutes we're going, and then we started walking, and I was like, no, this is where I've just pooed. Oh my God. And I was literally shitting myself,
What if they
literally.
know that's what you did in poo?
Oh my God. So we were walking up there, and I was like, I can't remember where I did it. I can't remember where I did it. What if someone stood in my poo? But I'd done it like close enough to like the edge. It wasn't like in the middle of like the path. And I tucked myself away. But I was like, I can't believe we're walking this way. What if someone sees my poo? Oh my God, what am I going to do? And then in my mind, like, there were stray dogs everywhere. And I was like, well, it's a dog. So a dog's done a poo. Like, that's, I was like, if someone asks me about the poo, like, I'll just say it's a dog's. I was like, no one's going to ask about a poo. Like, why is someone going to go, Shelley, is that your poo? Like, no one knows I've done the poo. Anyway, it was awful. And I was, in my mind, I was like, fuck, like, what if someone stands in the poo? And I hadn't even thought, but that day we were the first group off. So it was 3 other groups
Everyone
to come the
walked past
same
your
way.
poo.
And I was like, everyone's walked past my poo. Obviously no one's like said anything, because why would you? So I'm hoping no one stood in the poo. I'm really sorry if anyone stood in my human poo. But I don't think I did. I covered it. Anyway. But also I did a poo every single day we trekked. A wild poo. No one knows that. So you're welcome. So I did at least 4 wild poos.
Okay.
By the end of it, I was an expert. And some days were better than others. Some days there were like rocks and trees you could hide behind.
Yeah.
But not once did I ask for the shovel of shame. Because why should it be shameful? When you need to poo, you need to poo.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not digging a fucking hole. I'll be here for hours trying to dig a hole to poop in. And then what? Cover it? No. Anyway, so that's my poo story. And then at the end, we're having a little party, and they were kind of announcing, like, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, now we have an award to give out. But, to get this award, you need to own up. You need to own it. You need to own this award. And it was like little poo badges for anyone that had done a wild poo. But then obviously you had to own up to doing a wild poo to go and get the award. And I shit you not, the amount of people that got up, I was like, yes, it wasn't just me. There must have been about, I think, 30 people that got up and got that award. And I was like, yes.
That's amazing.
Thank God. 'Cause I wasn't going to get up. But then I saw other people getting up, and I thought, great. I'm in good company.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
if you need to do wild poo, you need to do wild poo. But top tip, take some dog poo bags or some toilet roll.
Yeah.
So you can at least wipe your bum.
On that note. Love you, bye!
Love you, bye! If you want to share your story, we'd love to hear from you. Whether you've had cancer, you know someone that's had cancer, or you just love listening to our voices. Slide into our DMs on Instagram at onelump_or2.
Or email us at onelumportwopod@gmail.com.
See you next week.
Bye!